radio station. So we're not, I think a lot of the other things you're going to are businesses really, aren't they? So we're not a profit-making business, we're a social enterprise, if you like. And most of at the moment we rely mainly on grants to keep us going from a variety of organisations. We broadcast 24 hours a day online, and what you can hear behind me is what's going out at the moment. Do you want to go first? Our programmes are mainly made by volunteers, and we try to encourage as wide a range of people to come in as possible. So our main ethos is to encourage diversity in the media right at grassroots level. So we're offering training opportunities to a wide range of people. For example, through the week at the moment, the courses we're running include courses for adults with learning difficulties, after-school clubs for kids from the local area, primarily aimed at kids who are from, let's say, disadvantaged backgrounds. And we also have recently started a women's radio group which runs on a Wednesday morning from 10 till 12 if you're interested in coming along. We're particularly keen to attract people and to train people who wouldn't necessarily otherwise have access to these kind of facilities, and we want to encourage just a really diverse range of programming. So for example, in our schedule you'll find 8 o'clock every evening there's a different community language that we broadcast in. We have a really wide range of music. We have from kind of indie music to hip hop to electronica, country and western, jazz, anything that might be seen as being a little bit quirky and not exactly mainstream that you'd find on another commercial station. We'll play it. And the volunteers that come forward are mainly from the Leeds 10 and Leeds 11 area, which is the area that we serve, but also from further afield as well, and just wanting to get involved in radio really. Let's go and have a look in the studio, because that's probably gives you a bit more feel of what we do. We have a very small staff base. There's just myself and Aaron, who both work 20 hours a week. Although Aaron in reality actually works quite a lot more than that, but we're kind of in charge of keeping the volunteers going and recruiting new volunteers, and making sure that the programming goes out, kind of fits in with our ethos. But apart from that, we have a bank of between sort of 80 and 100 volunteers who probably, I would say, around 20 of those are very regular at the station, and then the rest will come in on an ad hoc basis when they want to make a programme. Most of our programming is recorded, and we drop the programmes into a schedule which goes out through an automated playlist system, which Aaron will be able to tell you more about, not me. But
I'll open it and let you have a quick look.
Yeah. But we also now have, over the last couple of months, we have the capacity to broadcast live, and we're now at the point where we have 7 hours of live broadcasting a week, and that's growing all the time, because obviously anybody that wants to get involved in radio is much more interested in putting out a live programme because it's a bit more of a buzz. We're hoping that soon we'll also be able to even have phone interviews, but we're not quite there technically at the moment. Mm-hmm. In terms of equipment that we've got here, we're pretty well set up for a community radio station. Obviously you pointed out the decks, we like to have the old-fashioned stuff there, but some of the DJs do like to use them.
We've got some cassettes
We've got
next door as well.
We have got cassettes next door, yeah. You don't do that.
No need to reel our cat machines out, I'm afraid.
Sadly, when I took my own record player from my mum's loft quite recently, and my kids saw it and were just like, "What's that?" Nice. It makes me feel really old. But our equipment, although it's very basic, we put out some pretty good stuff, I think, now. And obviously we have capacity to do kind of discussions and panel programmes and things like this as well, which is something we're working on at the moment. Part of the reason we got involved with the Leeds Digital Festival is because we saw there's loads of businesses involved, but we thought it'd be nice for you to come and see something that you actually might be able to get involved in, hopefully, if you'd like. Obviously, if anybody has any kind of interest in radio, not just in terms of broadcasting, but we have a website which is being updated and moved to a new site at the moment, and we're trying to build on the way that we use the website in terms of we'll have RSS feeds of our Twitter and Facebook updates, and we also have a blog and a forum on there, and that's not something we've been able to do before. We'll be hosting more podcasts and listen again type programmes, and it might be that, you know, any of you that are involved in kind of new media and marketing might be interested in helping out with that sort of side of things, because obviously, as I said, we work 20 hours a week each, and that's,
Apparently.
yeah, it disappears very quickly.
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to come forward, not necessarily even just to make radio programmes, but to get involved in some other way, then we'd really welcome that. So I don't know if you want to sit in the training room and
Yeah, should we grab
if
a...
there's any questions that anybody has. That's
There
probably-
is another studio.